Hello everyone, this is session 8 of chapter Light, Reflection and Refraction. In this session, we will learn about refraction of light, refractive index and absolute refractive index, optical density, refraction by glass slab and refraction by prism. Here you can see that the beam of light when enters into a glass slab, it deviates from its original path. And when it comes out of the glass slab, it again deviates from its original path. What does this phenomenon is called and why does this happen? This phenomenon is called refraction of light. The definition of refraction of light is whenever a ray of light enters obliquely from one transparent medium to another, the direction of propagation of light in the second medium changes. While crossing the interface of two media, this phenomena of deviation or bending of light rays from their original path while passing from one medium to another is called refraction. A light traveling obliquely from a denser medium to rarer medium bends away from the normal. Like this in this example, this is the rarer medium and this is the denser medium. Hence, when light enters from rarer to denser medium, it bends towards the normal. This is the original path of the light and it bends towards the normal. And reversely, when light enters from optically denser to optically rarer medium, it bends away from the normal. This is the incident ray and this is the direction of propagation of incidence ray. And light rays bend away from the normal. Okay. Now we will discuss some day-to-day examples of refraction. First example is the bottom of tank or a pond containing water appears to be raised. A pencil partly immersed in water in a glass tumbler appears to be displaced at the interface of water, air and water. A lemon kept in water in a glass tumbler appears to be bigger than its actual size. Why does this happen? It is so because when light rays enter optically rarer medium, here air, from an optically denser medium, here water, then light rays bend away from the normal and hence these emergent rays when produced in backward direction appear to meet at a point which is slightly above than the actual position of the object. Here, this ray when enters in the air bends away from the normal and similarly this ray again bends away from the normal. Hence, when we produce these rays in backward direction, image is formed at this place which is slightly above than the actual position of the object. That's why all those phenomena are observed. Now, why does refraction occur? Refraction is due to change in the speed of light as it enters from one transparent medium to another. And during the process of refraction, only frequency of light remain constant, whereas wavelength and velocity change. And we will discuss this in our later sessions. Here we can see that the light rays when enters into an optically denser medium, their wavelength decreases as their velocity decreases, and when they come out again their wavelength becomes normal. Laws of reflection. Refraction of light occurs according to the following two laws. First law, the incident ray, the refracted ray and normal to the point of incidence at the interface all lie on the same plane, and similarly the angle between the incident ray and normal is called angle of incidence, and angle between the refracted ray and normal is called angle of refraction. Now second law is the ratio of sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction is constant for the light of given color and for the given pair of medium. This law is also known as Snell law. Here theta 1 is the angle of incidence and theta 2 is the angle of refraction. Hence sine theta 1 upon sine theta 2 is equal to constant, which is equal to the refractive index of first medium with respect to second medium. Now next heading is absolute refractive index. The absolute refractive index of a transparent medium is the ratio of the speed of light in vacuum to the speed of light in the given medium. It is represented by the symbol Nm. Hence Nm is equal to speed of light in vacuum or air upon speed of light in that medium is equal to C upon Vm. C is the symbol of speed of light in air, which is equal to 3 into 10 to the raised power 8 meter per second, and Vm is the symbol of speed of light in the given medium. The refractive index of diamond is the highest, which is equal to 2.42. This means that the ratio of speed of light in air to the speed of light in water is equal to 2.42. Now we must keep following things in our mind. First, the absolute refractive index of a medium is simply called its refractive index. As refractive index is a ratio, hence it does not have any unit. Refractive index of substance is its characteristic property. This means we can identify a transparent substance by its refractive index, or as the refractive index of a substance increases, its optical density increases. The refractive index of water is 1.33, the refractive index of ground glass is 1.52, and the refractive index of diamond is 2.42. This means that glass is optically denser than water and diamond is optically denser than glass. Now see these three pictures. In all these three pictures, the angle of incidence is 45 degree. When light enters from air to water, the angle of refraction is 32 degree. When it enters glass from air, the angle of refraction is 20 degree. And when it enters in diamond from air, the angle of refraction is 70 degree. So we can conclude that as the optical density of a substance increases or its refractive index increases, the angle of refraction for a given angle of incidence decreases. So if we want to compare the optical density of two medium, then the medium with lower angle of refraction is optically denser. Now next heading is refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 1, and it is defined as the ratio of the speed of light in medium 1 to the speed of light in medium 2. This is usually represented by the symbol n/2 N means refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 1. So the refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 1 is equal to speed of light in medium 1 upon speed of light in medium 2 is equal to refractive index of medium 2 upon refractive index of medium 1. That is n/1 is equal to v1 upon v2 is equal to n2 upon v1. We can conclude that refractive index of a medium is inversely proportional to its velocity of light in that medium. Now take a numerical. The refractive index of water is 1.33 and that of dense flint glass is 1.65. If the flint light travels with a speed of 2.26 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second in water, find the speed of light in dense flint glass and the refractive index of glass with respect to water. Now we know that n/1 is equal to v1 upon v2 is equal to n2 upon n1. This implies the refractive index of glass with respect to water is equal to refractive index of glass upon refractive index of water is equal to 1.65 upon 1.33, which becomes the value 1.24. Hence the refractive index of glass with respect to water is 1.24. Again we know that n/1 is equal to v1 upon v2 is equal to n2 upon n1. So we get velocity of light in water upon velocity of light in glass is equal to refractive index of glass upon refractive index of water. Now put the values in the given equation and we will get the velocity of light in glass is 133 upon 165 into 2.26 into 10 to the raised power 8, which is equal to 1.82 into 10 to the raised power 8 meter per second. As the optical density of a substance increases or its refractive index increases, the velocity of light in that medium decreases. Now take another numerical. The refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 1 is 1.24 and the refractive index of medium 3 with respect to medium 1 is 1.44. Find the refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 3. Here the refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 1 is 1.24 and refractive index of medium 3 with respect to medium 1 is 1.44, and we have to find the value of refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 3. We know that n/1 is equal to n2 upon n1 and n/1 is equal to n3 upon n1. Now when we divide n/1 by n/1, we will get n2 upon n1 into n1 upon n3. n1 will cancel n1 and we will get n2 upon n3, which is according to definition is equal to refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 3. That's why the refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 3 is equal to n21 upon n31 is equal to 1.24 upon 1.44, and on solving the value we will get the value 0.86. Since the value of refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 3 is more than 1, this implies the medium 2 is optically rarer than the medium 3. And if the refractive index of a medium with respect to another medium is greater than 1, this means the medium 1 is optically denser than the medium 3. Now come to the topic optical density. The ability of a medium to refract light is expressed in terms of its optical density. If the refracted ray bends away from the normal with respect to the incident ray, then the second medium is said to be optically rarer as compared to the first medium, and vice versa. If the refracted ray bends towards the normal with respect to the incident ray, then the second medium is said to be optically denser as compared to the first medium. In comparing two media, the one with the larger refractive index is optically denser medium. We must remember this thing. Then the other medium of lower refractive index is optically rarer. If n2 is greater than n1, this means that medium 2 is optically denser than medium 1. The optical density has nothing to do with the mass density. An optically denser medium may not possess greater mass density. For example, kerosene, having higher refractive index, that is 1.44, is optically denser than water, whose refractive index is 1.33, although the mass density of kerosene is less than the water. We will study the reflection of light by a glass slab. First of all, make a rectangle. So this rectangle represents a glass slab. Now, first of all, make a normal. This red line is normal at this point. Now this is incident ray. अब आपको स्केल ऐसा रखना है कि इस तरह से लाइन नहीं जानी चाहिए, ये स्केल यहाँ से बाहर नहीं आना चाहिए, इधर से ऐसे like this. So this is the incident ray. Now this is the dotted line which shows the direction of propagation of incidence ray. वो इस बेस से बाहर आनी चाहिए, ऐसे अगर रखा होता है स्केल तो that is wrong. Okay. Now since light ray entering from air to glass, that is optically rarer to optically denser medium, it will bend towards the normal. So it will bend towards the normal like this. So light ray bends in this direction, that is in the clockwise direction. And now this is the direction of propagation of the refracted ray. Okay. Now make normal at this point. Now since light is entering from glass to air, that is optically denser to optically rarer medium, it will bend away from the normal. It will bend away in this direction, that is in the anti-clockwise direction, and you will see that the emergent ray is parallel to the direction of propagation of the incident ray. This is the incident ray. When it enters from air to glass, it bends towards the normal, that is in the clockwise direction, but when it emerges out from glass to air, it bends in anti-clockwise direction, and in this way the emergent ray is parallel to the direction of propagation of incident ray. Okay, this direction AB is the incident ray, this BC is the reflected ray, and this CD is the emergent ray. So angle found between AB and this normal is called the angle of incidence. Now angle between the refracted ray and normal, that is red line and blue line, this is the angle R1. Now this angle is called the R2, or this is normal and this is the emergent ray. So this angle is called the angle of emergence. Okay. Since line M dash and N dash are parallel to each other and alternate interior angles are equal, hence angle R1 is equal to angle R2. Okay, and the emergent ray is parallel to the direction of propagation of the incident ray, and the difference between these two lines is called the lateral displacement, which is proportional to the width of the glass slab. As the width of the glass slab increases, the lateral displacement increases. Okay. Now we know that according to Snell's law, refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 1 is equal to sin I upon sin R. At PQ, which is the air glass interface, the refractive index is refractive index of glass with respect to air is equal to sin I upon sin R, and at SR, which is glass air interface, the refractive index of air with respect to glass is equal to sin R2 upon sin E, is R1. But we know that refractive index of glass with respect to air is equal to 1 upon refractive index of air with respect to glass. This, so we have sin I upon sin R1 is equal to sin E upon sin R2. The reciprocal of NAG is sin E upon sin R. Since R1 is equal to R2, this implies sin of R1 is equal to sin of R2. Okay, so we will get sin I is equal to sin of angle E, because sin R1 sin R2 equal hai, they will cancel each other, and we will get sin I is equal to sin E, and by comparison we will have angle I is equal to angle E, that is angle of incidence is equal to angle of emergence. That is why ray CD is parallel to the direction of propagation of ray AB. Okay, here we can see that the extent of bending at both the interfaces, air glass interface and glass air interface, are same in magnitude but opposite in direction. Here the extent of bending is in clockwise direction, and here extent of bending is anti-clockwise direction, but same in magnitude. That is, this angle theta and this angle is also theta. These two, both the angles are equal, but their direction is different, so they nullify the effect of each other. Hence the emergent ray is parallel to the direction of propagation of the incident ray. Okay. We will study the reflection by a glass film, and for that, first of all, we will make a equilateral triangle. Okay. Now the length of this side is 2 inch. Make the 60-degree angle on both the sides, because each angle of equilateral angle is of 60 degree. Okay. So this is a outline of a prism. Let it name as A, B and C. Now this is the incident ray, and these dotted line represent the direction of propagation of incident ray if refraction doesn't occur here. Now at this point we will draw the normal. नॉर्मल विथ डॉटेड लाइंस। ये एंगल 90 डिग्री होना चाहिए आपका। नाउ एंगल बिटवीन द इंसिडेंट रे एंड द नॉर्मल इज एंगल ऑफ incidence. Now since light is entering glass from air, hence they will bend towards the normal. Okay, ऐसे थी, ऐसे bend हो जाएंगे आपकी light rays. So here the direction of bending is clockwise. Okay, now angle between the refracted ray and the normal, this angle is angle of refraction, that is R1. Now अब इस पॉइंट पे 90 डिग्री बनेगा विद द हेल्प ऑफ डी। ओके, एंड दिस इज द original path of light if refraction doesn't occur. But since the light is entering air from glass, that is optically rarer medium from an optically denser medium, hence it will bend away from the normal. तो light जो ऐसे जा रही थी, it will bend away from the normal like this. Again the direction of deviation is clockwise. So at both the interfaces, air glass interface and glass air interface, the direction of deviation is clockwise. Okay, and because of this, the direction of the emergent ray makes an angle with the direction of the incident ray, and this angle is called angle of deviation, which is represented by symbol delta or capital letter D. Now this angle, this is the normal and this is the emergent ray. This angle is called angle of emergence, and this angle is angle R2. Okay. Now let's summarize what we have learned. This ray PQ is the incident ray and this line EF is the normal. And angle between the incident ray and the normal is the angle of incidence. Since light enters from optically denser medium from optically rarer medium, hence it bends towards the normal. So this is the original path of the light. It bends towards normal, hence the direction of bending is clockwise, and QR is the refracted ray. But when it comes out of the prism, since it entering air from glass, that is from optically denser medium to optically rarer medium, it bend away from the normal. This is the original path of the light. It bend away from the normal. Again the extent of bending is clockwise. Okay, and now this angle between the normal and this is the emergent ray, is called the angle of emergence, that is E. Since the extent of bending at opposite interfaces is same in direction but different in magnitude, hence the emergent ray makes an angle with the direction of propagation of the incident ray, and that angle is called angle of deviation. Angle of deviation. And we can prove the relation that R1 plus R2 is equal to A. A is called angle of prism. Angle of prism, and another important relation is A plus delta is equal to I plus E. We should memorize these two relations. Okay. That's all for this session. I hope you like the presentation. Thank you very much.